Hey everybody, welcome. This is Frank. I'm back again after a multi-month absence that I've been on self-imposed blackout due to the dental surgery and subsequent healing I had back in January and February, but I am back. I've returned with a new series of hopefully self-help videos for you guys. Well, I know they're self-help videos, but hopefully they can help you. So, new series starting for 2022. That is the year, isn't it? This one is called a GenXer Navigating the 2020's. So, for those of you that are in my age bracket, for those of you that grew up in the 70s and 80s, we fall firmly into the category of Gen X, a little past the baby boomers and before the millennials. We sit in that special time between the 70s and 80s, which, I wouldn't have wanted to grow up any other time. Needless to say, let's state the obvious, the world is quite a different place than it is today. As it was for us in the 80s compared to like the 50s and 60s kids. That being said, I'm going to use today primarily as an introduction because I have maybe 4 to 5 different subjects I'm going to cover as the weeks progress. I'm not sure how long this is going to go. I tentatively have it to be a 5-session series, which again I hope will prove helpful to you. Those of you that have been following my videos know I've done these for several years now. Different self-help videos on, just ways to live in the world, ways to be happy, grief, just things people struggle with, and see if my little advice maybe can help some folks that are struggling. So, like I said, I want to use today as an intro. In the coming weeks, I'm going to be covering topics such as Generation X are navigating things like technology, which we all know for our generation is a little bit of a struggle considering how quickly it changes today. Politics, that should be fun. Hopefully I'll get some good feedback on that. Movies and television, music, and finally work. And if other ideas come into my mind in the interim, I'll probably cover those as well. But I'm really happy to be back with you. I love doing these videos. You can find them all on YouTube. I'll include the link again so you can go over there, subscribe, tell your friends, and tell everybody. I love feedback. I don't even mind criticism. We all have room to grow. So as an intro for today, this Gen Xer Navigating the 2020's, here's just a couple of observations I made before we get into the meat of this next week with our discussion about technology. Based upon my own research and the study that I've done, the world has changed more markedly probably in the past 30 years than it did in the 30 years between, let's say, the 50s and the 80s. Now, there was obviously quite a few things that were different as the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s progressed. The 60s were a time of great turbulence with the civil rights movement, the assassinations and things, Vietnam, of course. So obviously things were different. But in my perspective, things seem to be changing quicker today. They seem to change almost on a daily basis. The rules of how to govern yourself in society seem to be very fluid. And maybe it was my age, maybe it was the era, but I kind of felt in the late 70s, 80s, even maybe the early 90s to a degree, you knew kind of what to expect day to day. You knew what was expected of you. You knew what to expect. Today, I just see everything as I'll use that word again, fluid, because there seems to be, no balance, no homeostasis to the way we live life anymore. And that's a struggle for me. Part of the reason I'm doing these videos is I struggle with this stuff on a daily basis myself. I mean, I know others do too. I mean, they have that whole series of commercials. I think Progressive Insurance does them. People that you don't want to turn into your parents. And they make a big joke out of people that, tend to behave like that. And I'm sorry to say I identify with a lot of those things. I know especially like when I go to a crowded place like a concert or a sporting event, I am one to say, okay, maybe we should leave halfway through the fourth quarter or whatever to beat the traffic, or the last song or the encore if it's a music show. So I know I'm not alone. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is I think the period, and this is just my analysis, mind you, I think the period from the 50s to the 80s, while things were changing, of course, I don't think they changed as quickly or as markedly as they did, as they have from the period of let's say the late 80s, early 90s to today. Um, our upbringing, the way we were raised in the 70s and 80s, looked a lot like 50s and 60s kids. The way the subjects we were taught in school, the way we were taught in school, our entertainment, while things like video games and VCRs, were the evolution at the time, TV was still relatively the same as it had been for a long time. Movies too. So we've seen a lot of changes in the past 35 to 40 years, obviously. And I think kids today are constantly learning. They're constantly having to learn new things, not so much new things, but just new ways of interacting in this world. Whereas, I really feel like we really knew what to expect. So as I go through things in the coming weeks, like technology and like politics and like music and TV and movies, I'm going to try to point out what I see as the massive changes that have occurred in the past 35 years or so. I'm hoping this will be fun for everybody. Like I said, I'm open to any feedback, questions too. I welcome that. If you want me to discuss a particular subject, I'm open to do that. The whole point of these videos is to help people, and in the process, I help myself. I like to talk about things that maybe people are reluctant to talk about because they seem kind of inane on a day-to-day basis, or just things that are bothering people, and hopefully it'll help you navigate the world a little bit better. So that's the intro for today. Okay, today is we're coming up on spring, a new season. So new season, new series. So I wonder if I was doing like a TV show, what season I'd be on right now. I'm thinking about 4 or 5. Maybe I should do the old 6 seasons in a movie and call it quits. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, take a look at my link on YouTube. Looking forward to hearing from you guys, and I will be back next week, hopefully, schedule permitting, health permitting, everything permitting. And we're going to start with technology. So have a great day. See you soon. Peace.